Good afternoon, everybody, and I hope this finds you well. Welcome to Tuesday's Collective Worship. The Christian value that we're thinking about this week is service. Very, very special Christian value. You might remember Mrs. Selina speaking about it in her Collective Worship a few weeks ago. I'm going to introduce you to a very special woman who really showed this Christian value throughout her life. Here she is. Her name was Barbara C. Harris, and she was born on June the 12th, 1930. And Barbara was the first woman to be ordained a bishop in the Episcopal Church and the Worldwide Anglican Communion. The very first woman. Very, very special. And she did many wonderful things in her role as bishop. She worked tirelessly for equality in society, something that we know is so important. So this week, if you have any time, you might like to research Bishop Barbara, see what other information you can find out about the wonderful works that she did, the wonderful service. Just going to look at this sentence from the Bible. It's from the book of Luke, and this is something that Bishop Barbara thought very carefully about. Do to others as you would have them do to you. Now, yesterday, Monday, was actually National Friendship Day, so that links in beautifully with this sentence as well. So thinking about all the lovely things you want to happen to you and ways in which you can treat other people like that. I'm going to read you a story now about two animals and how one of them shows such service to the other. And this is called The Lion and the Mouse. One hot afternoon, Lion lay snoozing happily in the shade of a tree. Suddenly, he felt something running over his nose. He opened one eye and saw that it was a tiny mouse. Furious at being woken, he waited his moment. Then he flashed out his great paw and caught Mouse by his tail. "Oh, please," squeaked the mouse. "I didn't mean to wake you. Let me go, please. I'll pay you back one day, I promise." Lion roared with laughter. "You repaying me? A little tiddly thing like you? How could such a puny creature be any use to a king of the beasts like me?" "Please, great king," cried Mouse, "don't eat me." Lion yawned and thought about it. He was too sleepy. "Oh, well, if you insist. After all, you wouldn't make much of a meal, would you? Off you go, and be careful whose nose you walk out on in future." It was not long after that Mouse and Lion met again. This is how it happened. Lion had gone off hunting at dusk. He was stalking through the trees, following a herd of zebra, when he happened to spring a hunter's trap. A great net came down on him and held him fast. He roared and he raged, but in spite of all his great strength, he could not break free. His roaring echoed through the forest so that everyone heard him and everyone knew that Lion was in trouble. Mouse heard him too, and he was a mouse of his word. Off he went as fast as his little legs would carry him to see if he could help. It wasn't long before he came across Lion still caught up in the net, still roaring and raging. "Don't worry," said Mouse, "I'll soon have you out of that." And he began to gnaw at the net ropes one by one until at last Lion could break free. "There you are," said Mouse. "I told you I'd pay you back, didn't I? A little tiddly thing like you, helping out a king of the beasts like me," Lion replied. "Who'd have thought it possible?" "Everything is possible," said Mouse. "Goodbye, Lion." So have a little think about how service was shown in that story, and how the lion didn't really think the mouse would be able to help, but actually that little mouse did. I'd like you to think about that this week and think about Bishop Barbara and all the wonderful things she did to help our society be equal. And before I go, just going to join together with our prayer. Dear Lord, please help us to treat others as we wish to be treated ourselves. Help us to show great service just as Bishop Barbara did. Help us to work towards a world where everyone is treated equally. Amen. I hope you all have a lovely week, whether you're in school with us or at home, and I'm sure that we will all be together very, very soon.